وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا في بث حي ومباشر عبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues.
Good morning, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor of Michigan-Dearborn, a digital business magazine in the Arab American communities. We provide business and real estate news, loan and lending information, support to small businesses, and much, much more. Please join us at Michigan.com. Today is Friday, March 24th, 2023. The number here is 248-557-3300. Give us a call should you have a question or a comment in Arabic or in English. Today, it's a cool, cloudy day with some rain for the evening in the forecast. Stay warm, stay dry. First, I would like to congratulate the community on the month of Ramadan. Congratulations. This is a great month of fasting. This is a great month of giving, sharing, and working with the poor, remembering the poor, and remembering family and friends. This is really the time when the whole community gets energized in a great way. So I'm looking forward to a month of learning, a month of understanding, and a month of trying to be as good as I can. This is again time to really reflect and look inward and see what we can improve. We have a good program for you today. Inflation continues to be the talk and of the news, and it's on everybody's mind as well. And recently the Feds have raised interest rates. Not long ago, a couple of weeks ago, Silicon Valley Bank shut down. Other banks followed suit. There is a lot of uncertainties and sending jitters through the whole system. We're thinking, what's going on? What's going to happen? Is my money safe in the bank? What else is going on? And with us this morning is Professor Vivek Singh of the University of Michigan-Dearborn. Good morning, Professor Singh.
Good morning, Khalil. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. It's as I mentioned, the economy is still uncertain. Where are we going from here?
Okay, Khalil, you're absolutely right, actually, on both the fronts. In fact, the things have become a little more uncertain with the collapse of these few banks in the last 2 or 3 weeks. On inflation side, the things remain grim in the sense that we still continue to have very high inflation in comparison to what the Federal Reserve is very comfortable with, that is 2% year to year. We continue to have almost 3 times of that. And the worrying aspect is the Federal Reserve Bank has been increasing the interest rates for quite some time now, from almost 0, they're almost close to 5%. But still, the price rise has somewhat muted, but it still remains extremely high. And some of the reasons are actually good. I mean, in the sense that the labor markets remain very tight. I mean, people have jobs, the salary, the wages are growing. So which is a good news. I mean, the supply bottlenecks have eased up. China has opened up. The energy prices are little lower than what they were. But despite all that, this 6% number is way too high. So given that number, I mean, we expect that, and especially the labor market conditions are very, very tight. The people still have a lot of money, maybe saved up mostly from the stimulus that we had, very generous stimulus that we had during the time of pandemic. The companies are still flush with a lot of cash. So given all this, I think they will remain headwinds as far as the inflationary pressures go. So I expect that Federal Reserve will remain in a very hawkish mode, so to speak, in terms of raising the interest rates going forward. I expect yeah.
Now, the reason we have inflation is just for listeners to understand is because people have money to spend and they're spending more than they should.
Absolutely. So people have money because they are employed. In fact, like there are too many jobs in relation to the number of people who are looking for jobs. On top of that, they have savings. So even if you have more money than what you are actually earning. So you are getting those wages on a monthly basis. On top of that, you have the savings, which you have saved up from the COVID times. And the companies have money to spend too. So like it's a very deadly combination where the business sector has a lot of money to spend, the households have a lot of money to spend, and despite the Fed's attempt, like even like the property market, like which had cooled off a little bit, but again it starts showing sign of coming back. I mean, which is like very shocking that like despite high interest rates, the property market hasn't gone down as much as it should have, given the high interest rates. So things are, as I said, like it's good that people have jobs, they're making money,
Sure.
But the things are more expensive, like at the end of the day.
Yeah. Now, conventional wisdom tells us that, if prices go up, let the market regulate itself. Why should the Feds get involved and, push up interest rate and all of that stuff?
Yeah, Khalil, very good question, actually. I mean, out here, the basic idea of the price increases is it's basically a question of demand and supply. So if we have severe bottlenecks, as we did have during the COVID time, so there was excess demand and there's a lot of money also. So given the excess demand and the limited supply, the prices in equilibrium had to increase. But afterwards, when the things have started easing up, the prices should go down, like given the increasing supply and networks coming online. So the big problem with the inflation is like if your wages remain consistent with the price rises, then it's not an issue. But typically what happens is like your wages are a little more sticky. Like if the price are going up by 6%, as we just talked about, it's not true that like everybody is earning 6% more than what they were earning last year.
Sure.
I mean, I guess that most of us would decide, okay, we are making money, but we are not making like as much 6% more than what we were making. And in fact, like certain, as far as the consumers are concerned, like they look at things like, say, eggs, for example. I mean, what we could buy a dozen eggs for probably close to $1. Now, like it's more like $3 to $4 out there. So when people look at these kinds of things, they get more worried that what the hell is going on? I'm not making like 3 to 4 times of my salary, what I was making. I'm not making 6 to 7% that I was making earlier. The prices are outstripping in comparison to at what rate my wages are growing. So that's a very worrisome sign that on net, the consumers are losing because I'm spending the same amount of money, but I'm getting a little less.
Yeah. Now, I mean, again, generally speaking, and I've seen it in other countries where when the prices go up, people buy less.
Yeah.
Then, producers of eggs, they have to sell. Then they have no choice but to drop the price so they can sell. Instead, in America, I noticed that we have to have them. We have to have those eggs no matter what. And then the government, starts dumping all that money into the market, and that really messed everything up. I think most of the people during the pandemic, and I noticed that, really did not need that extra cash, and that has wreaked havoc on the economy.
I couldn't agree more with you, especially the last stimulus that President Biden pushed through the Congress, like that. A lot of people disagreed at that time, and I was one of those people who said, like, this is absolutely unwarranted. And almost everyone said that. All the economists, any economist worth his salt, was basically saying that this is going to open up the can of worms, especially in terms of the price increases. So that's exactly what has happened. And actually, a big chunk of the current inflation that we are facing is directly a result of that stimulus, the last stimulus. Of course, all other stimulus were also contributed, but especially the last one was totally unwarranted. So that was not needed. And like now, everybody has to pay the price for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think by now, do we know why this bank failed, Silicon Valley Bank?
Khalil, it was a very classic bank run or a bank collapse, actually. So to make the long story short, like what happened is, like, they borrowed money, which was from the depositors, and this money could be withdrawn anytime. But having borrowed that money, they invested a big chunk of that money into treasury securities and mortgage-backed securities, which were fairly good investment when the interest rates were low. But as the interest rates started increasing, they started decreasing in prices. So they were sitting on a pile of losses, unrealized. They hadn't sold them, but if they were to sell them anytime, they would be recognizing losses. Those accounting sort of losses would have turned into real losses. And some of these depositors started thinking that if I were to go to this bank might not have enough money to pay back what I actually deposited, given the losses they are sitting on. And then came and they also saw the bank itself sent out a signal, like early March, they tried to raise money, which was a clear-cut sign that they were trying to shore up their balance sheet, because they knew that they were sitting on losses. So they had to cover those losses somehow through the equity. And again, the equity markets knew that, so that again failed. So it was basically everybody lost confidence in the ability of the bank to pay. And in a typical classic bank run, like if one person shows up and second person shows up, and very soon in this Twitter world and the social media world that we live in, so it turns into a cascade, like where everybody started like lining up. Not literally, like this time we were doing it online. We were using our phones or like laptops to withdraw huge amount of money at the same time. And obviously, no bank, even actually the largest the banks, don't have all the cash if everybody started showing up at the same time.
Yeah. This is what happened in Lebanon, and everybody came to get their money, and the banks shut down.
Yeah.
They just said, we're not going to give anybody any money except $400 or whatever, something like that, small amount.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't understand how banks work. So they don't understand that it's when you put your money in the bank, it's a cooperation with the bank. Okay, the bank has to make money. They're going to use your deposit and so forth and so on. This lack of education sometimes creates all of this, misunderstanding. It's really unfortunate, and that raises the questions: is my money safe in the bank?
As of now, I'm pretty confident that the money is safe, but not because the banking system actually, has all the cash. If I were to show up again, the answer would be if all of us showed up asking our deposits back, the banks will not have money. Exactly. Because all that money is tied up in those investments, which are supposed to make money for the banking system. And part of that money goes back to some of us, at least those who are earning some interest. But like the Federal Reserve Bank has come out in a big way to support like all these banks. So so they have given all kinds of help to the bank, that any kind of security that you have, basically, like just give it to us, like we will give you just whatever is the face value. So you don't have to worry if anybody shows up. So which gives the confidence to anybody. Like, and I think all the investors, all the bank, all the people, those who are depositing money in the bank, they should be confident that my money is absolutely safe because the Federal Reserve is behind that. So we don't have to worry. But in the long run, like, I think that things have to be fixed for sure. I mean, Federal Reserve Bank will not be there.
Yeah.
Like for on permanent basis behind this. This is more or less a temporary sort of support.
Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
With more than 30,000 successful in vitro fertilizations, IVF Michigan is now ranked as one of America's best fertility clinics according to Newsweek magazine. IVF Michigan fertility centers are the recognized leaders in high-quality fertility care. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 9 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. A founding member, American board-certified Dr. Nicholas Shama, is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. He has performed over 20,000 successful IVF cases, and it's helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. When it's time to get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at one of America's best fertility clinics, call IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio toll-free at 855-952-9600. 855-952-9600. Life for Relief and Development has now been rated as one of the best charities for humanitarian aid. Life's humanitarian projects span the globe, and Life is celebrating its 30th anniversary of providing essential life-saving aid to people and communities in 36 countries, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. Where there is life, there is hope, and when disaster occurs here or around the world, including being one of the first responders to the Turkey-Syria earthquake crisis, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. We are looking to help the earthquake victims, and we take 0% overhead on emergency donations. So please help improve these efforts. Learn more about our involvement to help the helpless and bring hope where it's needed most, and make your tax-deductible donation to Life for Relief and Development now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. That's 248-424-7493. At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem. We're talking to Professor Singh, and we're talking about the economy. Professor Singh, the Fed chairman is supposed to make sure the banks are doing well and inflation is in good shape, and he has failed at both. Should President Biden ask him, get somebody else to do it?
Actually, I think quite frankly, this is too harsh a judgment on Federal Reserve Chairman, actually. I mean, as we just discussed a while back, I think a big reason why we are dealing with this inflation is because of the fiscal stimulus, which wasn't the doing of the Federal Reserve.
Sure.
So federal government gave the money in the hands of the people. It's not the Federal Reserve gave the money to the people. Okay, go and spend.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I think a Federal Reserve is not to be blamed. And secondly, when we talk about this issue of bank failures, I mean, which is the other thing that you are accusing Federal Reserve or chairman to be to be negligent of, like, or accusing him for this, what happened. Again, I think a lot of people, including me, of course, I think that they are trying to go to the depth of this problem, what exactly happened, and they're going to be issuing out a report. But you can make a reasonable argument that part of the reason why this bank failure happened is because after 2007, 2009, like 2008, 2009 period, like we introduced very strong regulatory requirements on the banks.
Sure.
Because we knew that what these banks were doing at that time. So they said, okay, like you won't be doing this kind of crazy things, that you won't be lending to anyone. Like, so the tighter credit requirements were introduced.
Sure.
So you needed to have more money on a liquidity basis, or like if people show up, like you should have money to pay them back. I mean, you should have good amount of capital buffer. If the things go bad, like then your shareholders have to suffer, not the taxpayers. So, but that was loosened, like relaxed in 2018-19 period. Yeah, by the Congress.
Yeah.
And again, like it wasn't the Federal Reserve which relaxed those requirements.
Sure.
So the banks like, say, Silicon Valley Bank was one of those banks, like had those things been the same, or if you treated all the banks the same way, regardless of whether they're small, the mid-sized bank or small banks or big banks, I think that things wouldn't have been like, we don't have people like saying the Bank of America is insolvent, or JP Morgan or Morgan Chase Bank is insolvent. It's only that the problem is about the smaller banks, because they weren't, I mean, they haven't been subjected to those kinds of rigorous requirements. And thanks to Congress, it's not the Federal Reserve, I'm afraid. Yeah. So I would say that Federal Reserve actually has done a great job. I'm afraid there were lapses, as I said, like they're trying to look into that. Maybe the San Francisco branch of Federal Reserve, which was supposed to supervise this bank, and what I've seen through my reading, that they did send out warning signals to this bank, but probably they could have done a little more. But overall, I would say that, like, I think it's unfair to put all the blame on Federal Reserve.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. I mean, Elizabeth Warren in the whole of Congress in 2018, she told them that this would happen if they relax these regulations. You know, again, we're falling a victim here of the ideology of a smaller government without really realizing the consequences of relaxing some regulations. You know, what we'd like to see is efficient government, not necessarily small or big. Mike, do we have a caller? I think Jerry's on the line.
Yep.
Okay. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning to you, Mr. Khalil Hachem, and good morning to the professor with you. Mr. Khalil Hachem, if you allow me in Arabic, I want Eid Mubarak.
Very quickly, Jerry.
Pardon me?
Very quickly.
Yes. شهر رمضان المبارك عند الأخوة المسلمين، مبروك عليكم جميعا، والأخوة المسيحيين في أيام الفصح مبروك، أعاده الله عليكم جميعا وعلينا بالخير والبركات. Mr. Khalil Hachem, my question to the professor, it come in 4 points. Number 1 point, as a professional professor, if you were the chairman of Federal Reserve, would you increase the rate again as happened yesterday? 1. 2, would you bail out the fallen banks by the government? 3, should the people and advise separate their money, deposit in numerous banks, different banks, like don't put your eggs in one basket? Number 4, the last one, is the safe deposit boxes in the banks, are they safe? I would appreciate the answer. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Mr. Khalil Hachem.
Thank you, Jerry. I think Professor Singh, we answered some of these questions, but go ahead if you want to respond to,
So Khalil, if I remember the questions correctly in that order, I think I would increase the interest rates as we did today, I think on Wednesday. I think I will continue to increase the interest rates because inflation is still an issue. We need to do that. Secondly, I think, again, Federal Reserve rescued this bank, and I think it may seem sort of reckless that we should not be using a central bank to rescue some bank which hasn't done its job correctly. I mean, it's basically shareholders should have suffered. But again, to limit the contagion, like if people start losing faith in the entire banking system, that's a bigger problem rather than saving just one bank. So again, my answer is I would do that. I think that was the right decision again. And the third thing, I think the question was the investors, the depositors should be, I totally agree with you that rather than putting your money into one bank, you should be spreading your eggs in different baskets. Like diversification, is always a good idea. And it doesn't cost much these days to open a bank account, especially if you do it online, like everything all the transaction could be done online. Absolutely, I would agree that you be spreading your money across various banks rather than just putting all your money into one bank. And the last ones are safe deposits. I think they are totally safe. I mean, as far as those are concerned, those are very different than it's your money as long as the bank is not robbed, literally, if people don't show up
and take them away.
Take away those safes. I think you're fine. I mean, you don't have to worry on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Jerry. It just it seems like even though the federal government has bailed that bank, it was totally necessary I agree with you, to really stop the domino effect. But at the same time, there seems to be still uncertainties in the general atmosphere of spending and the economy and all of that. It's going to take some time for that to go back to gain that trust, don't you think?
Absolutely, Khalil. I mean, this has absolutely shaken up the faith of people in the banking system. They thought after 2007, 2008, we had fixed the problem.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it looks like obviously that we did not.
Yeah,
we have to go back again and revisit what rules have to be changed, how these banks have to be supervised differently. Again, which is unfortunate. We thought we did this, but no, we haven't.
Sounds good. Is there anything I haven't asked you people need to know about the subject?
So, Khalil, I think the only other issue is these kinds of things should not have happened. So, by rescuing a small bank, it's a mid-sized bank. Let me not call it small bank. It's a mid-sized bank. Occasionally, is not a bad idea to, as you correctly said, to stop the domino effect. But if we have the regulation in place, right regulation in place, then I think these kinds of things should be avoided. We should not be rescuing these kinds of banks. It should be, if the bank fails, the losses should be borne by the shareholders or the other investors, those who are there. It's not, the central bank should not be doing this. If we do this, the big problem is you're telling other banks that, okay, continue to do whatever you have been doing. Exactly. What we call as a moral hazard issue, a classic moral continue to do this. If the things go wrong, again, in order to save the entire system, you will be helped, because they won't let you fall by yourself, because they will fear that if you fall, others will fall too. So you don't have to worry. At the same time, the depositors, they don't have to worry. If they're going to be made whole, doesn't matter whether FDIC limit is $250,000, even if I deposit $1 million without, as one of the callers said, that I should be spreading my eggs. I don't have to spread my eggs in different baskets. If Federal Reserve will make me good, even if I put all my money in one bank.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. As always, you provide us some great information.
Thank you, Khalil. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Were you recently at the emergency room, urgent care, or at your doctor's office being told you need a hand, wrist, or elbow specialist? At the Katranji Hand Center, we offer the latest techniques in hand, wrist, and elbow care. From sports injuries to work injuries to everyday hand, wrist, and elbow problems, the specialists at Katranji Hand Center are here to get you back on track. Call us in Troy today at 248-869-4263 or visit us at katranjihandcenter.com to schedule your appointment today.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
Are you going to start a restaurant or a grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bonham, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem. We've been talking about the economy and how the economy, how the economy really is going in regard to the deposits, in regard to the banks, inflation, interest rates, and no discussion about the economy is complete without talking about what's going on locally and how small business are how they're doing. And we've seen with the Silicon Valley when small business was businesses were unable to get their money. It really affected them tremendously. Luckily, in this area, we have a very thriving and strong business. And thanks to those who are promoting, strong business, like the Chamber of Commerce and like the DDA and other people. And this morning with us is Jackie Lovejoy. She's the president of the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. Also with us is Aisha Maxwell. I don't know if she can hear us. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Wonderful.
I am Aisha Maxwell, and I'm with Access.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us. So please take turn. Tell us what is going on locally. How is the small businesses doing, and what do we need to know? What kind of activities are going on? Let's start with Jackie.
Well, the Chamber does a lot of one-on-one counseling to new businesses. So a lot of people will go to a bank and look for a loan to start their new business. And either that bank is not an SBA lender or they don't have a business plan in their hand. So we connect them with SCORE, the Society of, please forgive me, for the acronym, the Society of Retired Executives.
Yeah.
And they put together, you have to have a business plan on paper. It's not an Excel spreadsheet. You have to have your plan, who's your market, what your zip codes are, who you're going to reach. What's your demographic? How do you see your suppliers supporting you? And then the SBA steps in if the bank's like, you're kind of a young business and you don't have a lot of your own skin in the game, the SBA will step in and help subsidize that loan. They will underwrite your loan. So you get going, you get started. And they're small loans for $5,000 or big loans, depending on the size of your big business plan and what you've done so far. So we do a lot of one-on-one counseling. I will say pre-pandemic, we had a lot more participation in a classroom setting. And we have moved largely to a one-on-one kind of counseling situation. However, we partner with Aisha and Access all the time, and they have a small business summit, and I hope we get a good crowd to that because everyone needs to hear the same message. I think Mayor Bazzi will be joining us shortly because I've met with them in the SBA over in Dearborn Heights, and I know Aisha's launching it in Dearborn. So people are aware of what programs are out there. A lot of people, you know, it's the old joke, when you get a new job, you don't know what you don't know. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Access is another great organization, has been helping the community for some time now. And Ms. Maxwell, if you let us know what's going on there and what can we tell small business?
Yeah, sure. So Access is actually one of the most comprehensive Arab American community nonprofits in the United States. So we have over 10 locations with more than 120 programs servicing the Metro Detroit area. So we offer a wide range of services, including social, economic, health, and educational services to a very diverse population of people. My role at Access is I run our small business entrepreneurship program. And so that's a program that has been ingrained with Access for roughly about 15 years. And it started out initially being a program to help the refugee community as they landed in the community, to help them gain their footing. Many were business owners in their respective countries. And so when they came over here, they needed a place to land to be able to navigate kind of the small business space. And so over 15 years, we've grown to be much more than that. We still support the refugee community, obviously, but we are also working with entrepreneurs and small businesses all across Metro Detroit. And so my role is to make sure that small businesses are connected to the myriad of resources that are available in the ecosystem. So much like Jackie explained, there are so many tools and resources available to small business and entrepreneurs within Southeastern Michigan, across Michigan as a whole. I've been on the western side of the state doing this work. So all over, there are tools and resources that are available. Well, what we are finding today in the small business space is that access to capital is one of the most critical pieces and components to what is needed to keep these businesses going and thriving. Business just looks different today than it did, pre-pandemic, or even, I would even say, going even back before the pandemic, right? So, and now we're out of the pandemic and it looks entirely different than it did during the pandemic. So, so there's a lot of things that are needed, and also not just the access to capital, because everyone will tell you they need access to capital, but we need folks to be capital ready, right?
Exactly.
Jackie talked about it, having your business plan, having your financial projections. What does your personal credit look like? What does your business credit look like? So at Access, our program is really focused on educating people and then also connecting them to the myriad of resources that are in the ecosystem. So like Jackie said, we do a number of summits. We do a number of 7-week cohort-based trainings, which we have 2 that are kicking off here for spring on April 20th. And so we pretty much at Access will work with any small business if you're in the idea phase of your business or if you're a more established business. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people have charted their journey through entrepreneurship by way of the pandemic, right? Because workforce looked so unstable. During that time, we saw thousands of layoffs. We saw, people afraid to come out of their homes. So what this did was propelled like this resurgence of entrepreneurs and small businesses and people realizing that they have to create their own journeys for livelihood, because folks still need to put food on the table, bills still need to be paid. So there's a whole resurgence of the entrepreneurship space for a lot of people who found shaky times during the pandemic. So at Access, my role and my team's role is to make sure that we provide those resources, that we're able to connect them with people like the Dearborn Chamber and other partners within the ecosystem. I'm everywhere doing this work and promoting entrepreneurship and trying to make sure that businesses stay connected, and wherever they are in their journey, that I can connect them to, if it's not services that we have within Access, which we have 120 plus programs. So somebody can come to us for business services and they may be in need of other services and we can service them in that way. But if there are other services that we don't provide, having a healthy knowledge of what's out there, which is what I pride myself on day in and day out, is just making sure I can be a trusted connector for most.
Absolutely. When is that summit, Ms. Maxwell?
So our training, so the summit that we do a summit around women business owners in the Dearborn area. That happens quarterly. We did our first one November 1st. We just had one to kick off Women's History Month. And that's where we bring, a diverse group of women business owners together to connect and to build and to learn how to work together, right? Because a lot of times
network. It's amazing how many people connected and are selling each other's products now.
Yes, and a lot of these ladies have connected. They're doing business together. They're going to trainings together. They're holding each other accountable. So we do a number of networking events like that, but we also do cohort trainings, and our cohort trainings are educational trainings that really set the foundations for you as a business. Maybe you don't know what your financials and your cash flow statements should look like. So we provide those types of trainings. And then we partner with our partners at the banks like Comerica, Bank of America, Chase, to come in, and they bring their experts to facilitate one-off workshops. So we do this all year long. So currently right now, our 7-week cohort trainings are starting April 20th. They'll be facilitated out of our Detroit location. Applications are live. We have roughly about 25 spaces in each cohort. And pretty much I was checking the application database today. We have reached our capacity. I will have to wait list people for the fall course. That's how many people are hungry for information.
Sure.
And what I'll say is, we talk about the pandemic and employment being unstable, and I hope Blick Art does not mind me mentioning them. But like many people, like servers, dishwashers, wait staff, they lost a lot of their staff because they found they could sell their art on their own, and they made a living being an artist as a solopreneur, as opposed to having a day job and painting at night or pottery at night or whatever they did. And that's the beauty of it, because we do tons of one-on-one counseling, but Aisha has and I have to really give you credit, to bring people together. And I think everybody's calendar is a little overbooked. It's like, woo, we can be out again. But what do you choose from? Where do you go? How do you connect? So the chamber's there for a lot of one-on-one questions. We probably get 5 calls every day. I'm looking for a ribbon cutting, a grand opening. I need extra funding. Where do I go? So we do a lot of that one-on-one. We've had a lunch and learn series, which I've tried to relaunch, and I think Aisha will speak to this. Sometimes you just don't catch people when they're ready.
Yeah.
So for that planned program that Access has and our one-on-one counseling, it's a natural fit for the two of us.
Absolutely. Both of you mentioned something very important, which is education. You can provide resources, but if people are not educated and ready for those resources, success is not going to be there. So it's very, very important, specifically in the immigrant community. And Access has done a really great job in trying to prepare immigrants for, the American way of doing business. So what else is going on in the community, Jackie?
Well, Ramadan Nights launched last night over at Fairlane Town Center and in West Dearborn. And it looked joyous and great food, and lots of great vendors. And it's going to run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe, between the two venues.
Sure.
Through the month until April 22nd. The chamber, we're having an after hours on April 4th because we try to showcase our businesses as we go through the year. So we have about 18 complimentary events. April 4th, we're having Build a Bouquet at Stan's Say It With Flowers. And we welcome people, but they have to register for space and time. We welcome people who aren't chamber members to come experience what it's like to be part of essentially a business club. We're a membership organization. You know, we can join a gym and do yoga once a week, or we can join a gym and do, and I'm probably old school now, P90X every day. It's what you enjoy. And if you go and you get connections out of the situation, that's great. Our awards luncheon is May 5th. And so we'll have a little Cinco de Mayo feel to our Chamber Choice Awards and our expo. And that's over at the Henry Hotel, supported by Ford Land. And then Taste of Dearborn comes June 14th. And we have 25 to 30 eateries, one-day food crawl. It's, you know, it's hard to say. Khalil and I know, which is a little horrifying. I've been here 10 years. Who knew?
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
We're glad you're here. The farmers market, when does it return?
You know, the DDA is running the farmers market, and it's going to return probably in June. And when I ran it at the chamber, I know the questions people get. Where are the tomatoes? I'm sorry, if you have a garden in your backyard, there are no tomatoes in your backyard in June. There's not many on the farms. Farmers can bring 30% from the Eastern market or from another vendor, you know, if they have relationships. It's going to start in June, and I'm sorry I don't have all those dates in my head. We invited those folks, and everybody's schedule is full. You could probably do a whole DDA show. Yeah,
absolutely. Ms. Maxwell, what else is going on at Access?
Oh, there's so much going on at Access right now. We're getting in full swing for Arab American Heritage Month. So we want to do a lot around the business community around that time. One of the things that we don't want to lose at Access, right, as we are servicing, you know, a very diverse group of people, but we want to stay within our MENA roots, right? And we want the MENA community to know that we are still here to support them from a business perspective. With all the other host of things that we do. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing during Arab American Heritage Month is hosting a roundtable with the SBA, Jackie and her team, the city of Dearborn Heights. We want to hear from the business community. We want to know, you know, what challenges that they are experiencing, and then how we can encourage people more to take advantage of the resources that the SBA has. Because again, they will underwrite those loans, and the criteria for underwriting those loans are not as severe as people would think. I mean, you could have a personal credit score of as low as a 560 and get approved for, you know, a significant amount of money with a very low interest rate and a 30-year payment term. You know, there's just a whole host of resources available through the SBA, and we want to encourage our community to build that relationship with the SBA, especially as we look at Dearborn and what the nature of most of our businesses are in this community. We have a lot of restaurants, a lot of people in the food and agri space. And if the pandemic didn't teach us anything, it taught us that was the group of businesses that suffered the most, the restaurant industry. And they're still trying to recover from that, from inflation and things of that nature. So, you know, at Access, we're always on the swing of things in terms of business, but then we also have, you know, our mission that extends nationally. And so our other centers, like the National Network for Arab American Communities, is busy doing things, especially around getting the MENA designation on the ballots and things of that nature, and having that classification. And then we also have the Arab American National Museum. We're also kicking off in April our, I don't believe that we did this last year. I think it's been a few years since we did this summit, but we're bringing Move back. And so Move will kick off in April, and that's kind of a 2-day workshop, all things MENA, all things Arab Americans, and that'll be held at the Henry Hotel. So we've got that going on. And then always our advocacy team is always out there advocating for all things MENA and Arab Americans.
How can people reach you, Ms. Maxwell?
So people can reach me. They can go to our website, accesscommunity.org, or they can reach me directly at business development. The email address is businessdevelopment@accesscommunity.org. And they can drop into any one of our offices. So we have our main office, which is on the south end side of Dearborn, so Dixon, Wyoming area. I am there some days. I am also at the Schaefer and Warren address, which most people are familiar with. So I'm there upstairs with my other colleagues that work in my program. And then I'm also at the Detroit office, which is off of Warren and Southfield. So I kind of float around between the three offices throughout the week. But yeah, if they go to that, send an email, I'll get in contact with them. I'm very entrenched on an intimate level with most of the businesses in the community and the people that we work with.
Thank you. Ms. Jackie? How can they reach you?
You know, and I could mirror what Aisha is saying. Just call ahead. Make sure we have an appointment because the whole team can be at a ribbon cutting. I'm just fully staffed in the last 60 days, which is like cold water on a hot day, with great people. But we could be in and out of the office, and our office is housed on the main floor of the Bryant Library, 22100 Michigan Avenue. I think the whole world knows next door to Buddy's Pizza across from Mongolian Barbecue. But just let us know you're coming. Sure. Because we're in a public building.
What's the number?
Our phone number?
Yeah.
313-584-6100. You can reach me you can look at our website, DearbornAreaChamber.org. And then my email is very simple, jlovejoy, first initial, last name, @DearbornAreaChamber.org.
Well, thank you so much to both of you for taking the time to be with us. We should definitely do another show after you complete all that work with the small businesses. This way we can, learn more about what the results are. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. It's a delight.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
في الشتاء نقضي معظم أوقاتنا في الأماكن المغلقة مع كثير من الناس، سواء كان ذلك لتشجيع الفريق الرياضي المفضل أو الاحتفال مع العائلة والأصدقاء أو السفر لقضاء عطلة بعيدة. ساعد في حماية نفسك وعائلتك والآخرين في المجتمع لتستمتع بشتاء آمن. حافظ على تلقي أحدث جرعة من لقاح كوفيد-19 والإنفلونزا. لمعرفة المزيد يرجى زيارة Michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. رسالة من وزارة الصحة والخدمات الإنسانية في ولاية ميشيغان.
يرجى الانتباه إلى أعضاء برنامج ميشيغان ميديكيت وكل المستفيدين من برامج المساعدة الغذائية. قد تؤثر التغييرات التي أجرتها السلطات الفيدرالية على مزايا وتغطية البرامج المقدمة لكم. لمعرفة التغييرات الجديدة وما تعنيه بالنسبة لكم يرجى زيارة Michigan.gov/2023 benefit changes. Michigan.gov/2023 benefit changes. هذا الإعلان برعاية وزارة الصحة والخدمات الإنسانية في ميشيغان ورابطة ميشيغان للمذيعين.
Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, and seafood dinners. Plus, they offer big trays of your favorite food and so much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab is located at 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills and is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So stop in or call Kashat's today at 248-538-9552. That number again, 248-538-9552. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem. I want to thank everyone that was on the show today, Professor Singh, Jackie, Lovejoy, and Miss Maxwell. Aisha Maxwell from Access. Thank you so much all for being us. Thanks to all the listeners, and thank you to Jerry for calling, and thank you for Mike for a great production. And finally, a final note is, no discussion about the economy is complete without talking about the housing market. The housing market is becoming strong and stronger by the day as we get closer to April, May, and June. These are the 3 months that really, really are some of the busiest in real estate. And this is the best months to really sell your property. If you have a home you want to sell, this is the time when you can get the most money for. And throughout the year is a really good time because the demand is still high, inventory is low. People got used to the interest rate, which is normal. The 5 and 6 are normal, and we're selling homes the same day. So if you have a property to sell, let us know. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. 313-819-0101. 2 important things right away. Last few weeks ago, we were on the show talking about tax assessments, and a gentleman called me about his store in Detroit, and I promised to go take a look at it. However, I lost the information. If you're listening, please give me a call so I can arrange with you to go take a look at your store. 313-819-0101. And lastly, if you're looking for a space in the heart of the Arab American community, some of the busiest area, which is Telegraph on Ford Road, we have a building for sale there, not for sale, for lease. The building is a 2-story building, and the first floor it offers about 5,000 square foot of it used to be a showroom area and a few offices, and then we also have there is also a warehouse attached to it, 1,800 square foot. So even if you're looking for a smaller space with a warehouse or just smaller space in the busy area, this is where the demand is, this is where the most foot traffic is. Again, it's on the corner of Ford Road and the Telegraph. If you go a little bit down on Telegraph before you get to the second block, it's on the corner over there, and it's a really great building if you're looking to for a location to lease. It's again, you can take the whole space or you can take part of it. Give me a call, 313-819-0101. This is a great time to buy as well, because this is we can talk to, even though demand is high, we can still talk to sellers. So if you're in the market to buy, if you need a home, this is really a good time to buy. More so, it is a good time to sell. So give us a call, 313-819-0101. Thank you so much for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem. Have a nice weekend. Bye now. Thank you, Mike, for great production.
يرجى الانتباه إلى أعضاء برنامج ميشيغان ميديكيت وكل المستفيدين من برامج المساعدة الغذائية. قد تؤثر التغييرات التي أجرتها السلطات الفيدرالية على مزايا وتغطية البرامج المقدمة لكم. لمعرفة التغييرات الجديدة وما تعنيه بالنسبة لكم، يرجى زيارة michigan.gov/2023 benefit changes. michigan.gov/2023 benefit changes. هذا الإعلان برعاية وزارة الصحة والخدمات الإنسانية في ميشيغان ورابطة ميشيغان للمذيعين.